Jack Burford, how you doing, mate?
Gutted. Can't believe it. Really wasn't expecting that today.
Well, what were you expecting? Like more of a higher energy, like more work rate off the ball and a bit more showing up with a bit more fight?
To be honest, I expected us today to just completely go for them. The way
Mm,
they're playing, the way we're playing, there's just no comparison at the minute. And
mm,
I just couldn't expect that. The way we come out, we were like trying to nullify their attack when we're the team on form. And
mm,
I couldn't expect that. I just couldn't
mm.
believe it.
Yeah,
But
we just looked so slow to the ball and to the second ball. Everything was just like, it's like a training exercise for them from the very first minute, which is such a shame.
we just didn't turn up at
Yeah.
all. Like I
Mm,
really expected us with Kane. Like look at our attack compared to theirs. Aubameyang wasn't even playing. We had
mm,
Kane, Son, Moura, and Bale. I thought Moura was going to hunt them down. I
mm,
thought every time Bale was going to get
mm,
the ball, they'd be scared. They'd step off. They'd try to nullify us. And it was completely the other way around. I just
mm.
didn't expect that at all. And it's just we didn't get out the blocks at all. We actually played better with 10 men.
Yeah, in the
Like
last 10 minutes. Yeah.
we look more of a threat with 10 men.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I really weren't expecting that.
but that's because they sat off and went into a low block, so they weren't pressing so
Mm,
much. So we were kind of like moving the ball through the midfield without any pressure. But yeah, you're right though. I mean, it was only then that I actually thought we could even nick it with 10 men, and we had
mm,
we had a couple of Kane chances when the free kick. Oh, no, I thought he scored that header, and I was going wild. But
exactly
uh,
same here.
oh god, that was really annoying. We just never seem to get those moments when we just really need to pull one out of like the ether, like when we
It's,
need it.
it's just you'd think, oh, and Kane hitting the post from the free kick as well.
Yeah,
It didn't fall for us today. But
no.
then we shouldn't have that mindset. I think all us Spurs fans believe we're the better team now. We
Mm,
should be the ones taking the game to them, even though we're
yeah.
at the Emirates. I
Mm,
believe like you've got to go for it. You've got with that attacking quality we have on the pitch. You've just got to go for the goal. You've got to
mm,
have that end product, and we didn't. Like Ndombele today in the midfield, I was really disappointed. I was expecting
mm.
him to go for it, find the game-changing passes, and he didn't turn up at all. And that's why he changed to Soko
Yeah, I
off
mean,
the pitch.
Ndombele didn't have a good game, but I think a lot of that was also because they packed the central area so well that they were just snuffing him out the moment he got the ball.
Mm,
Like he wasn't able to breathe on the ball at all. So
mm,
he wasn't able to. I mean, he did a few little turns and stuff, but yeah, he couldn't play that pivotal role for us. Like that. Setting the play off, which was a shame
mm.
because that's where Ndombele could have really made his mark today. But yeah, I mean, what else could you say about that game? I mean, you have to say Arsenal did play well. I hate to say it, but they did play really well. They were the better team, and to be honest with you, I do think they deserve to win that game. As much as I hate to say it, but like you say, we should have the personnel to deal with that. We should have put up much more of a fight than that. I mean, that was like for me a carbon copy of the West Ham and the Chelsea game.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. I think Arsenal just nullified our attack really well today. Arteta
Mm,
got it spot on, to be fair. And sometimes you've got to applaud. But at the same time, I really don't think Mourinho will be happy with how we played.
mm,
Do you really think that he wanted us to sit back and soak up all the pressure? I don't know. I think Arsenal, they set up to nullify
mm,
our attack, but
mm,
it doesn't sit right with me how we come out the blocks.
mm.
It's just frustrating when
I,
I
mm. Yeah,
with
no,
Gareth
I
Bale even
agree.
coming
I
off.
agree. I agree. I just don't understand why every single game I watch this season for the first 15, 20 minutes, like we're on the back foot and we're like weathering a storm. Like
Yeah.
that's a similar pattern I see nearly every game. And then we might soak up the pressure and like maybe nick a goal at the other end. But like we're just like handing the game to the opposition for the first like 20 minutes and then trying to like weather the storm and come out of it. And it's just like, why can't
Mm,
we just be on the front foot to begin with?
totally agree. You'd think like because to be honest, in the last couple of games, obviously we come on like a five
Mm,
game winning
mm,
streak. I thought it was starting to change. I thought Mourinho has
mm,
adapted his tactics, and I thought we've
mm,
started to come out of the blocks a bit faster. And once we get that early
mm,
goal, we seem to try and take it. We take it to
mm,
them. Like in
mm,
the Crystal Palace game, Crystal Palace got a goal just before half time, and that second half we just came out flying.
mm,
Harry Kane with that amazing first goal, and then
mm,
Gareth Bale masterclass. And I was expecting a similar thing today. Even at that in the second half, I always believed we had the quality on the pitch to get the result we needed. And
mm,
it just didn't fall for us. But we had a few chances, like you say. I think Kane whipped in the ball and Dele Alli was so close to
mm,
scoring. And then we hit the post from the free kick. But then again, we
mm,
say this a lot, how close it is, because football is a game of margins. But we still should have took the game to them more, in my opinion.
Yeah. But even that, they weren't real like clear-cut chances. I mean, like a free kick from like 25 yards out, or however far it was, that's not
Yeah,
clear-cut, and it was from a slight angle. And then the Dele, it was a cross, and he could have got onto the end of that header. But I mean, these are like, we're clutching at straws a little bit for,
exactly.
we never really carved them open. We never really got in behind them. We never really like looked like threatening them, which was like more of a worry for me. Obviously, Lamela scored his goal, but that was just like a bit of magic that he pulled one out the bag.
I was going to say,
let's talk about
Lamela.
that. Let's say some positives about that.
Yeah.
At least let's talk about that goal.
Yeah, I was going to say, only Lamela could score a goal like that and then get sent off straight away.
Yeah,
it's just,
isn't it?
Do you know what I mean? Only he could do that, because he brings that fire, that tenacity. He really gets stuck in, but he was a bit silly going in for that. You knew it was coming, didn't you? With Lamela, he's always wants to be first to the ball, and he's just left his arm out. But to be fair, it's not his fault. You want to see players get stuck in the derby, and it was just unfortunate, really.
It was funny because a minute before he got sent off, I was on Paddy Power, and I was trying to look for a bet of the odds for Lamela to get sent off.
I said that,
and I was about to put the bet on it. And then he went, "Oh, he's been sent off." I was like, I had 20 to 1 odds on that.
That would have.
Yeah, but because you could see that one coming, that was like going to be pretty obvious.
Always with Lamela.
I mean, it was a little bit harsh, I thought, because it wasn't like a straight elbow to the face. I mean, I actually think that if you look at the Man United game earlier this season
with Martial,
it's a similar one to that for me.
Exactly.
I don't think there was much difference between that arm that he put. Who was it into Xhaka? I can't remember who it was. Was it Xhaka?
Tierney. Was it Tierney?
Tierney? Was it Tierney? Yeah.
I think it was Tierney.
That for me was just the same as the Man United one on Martial early this season. So I thought it was a little bit soft because it wasn't like a straight elbow. It was just like kind of like when you're holding the ball off, but still a bit silly. Still silly, by the letters of the laws, you can't.
They're going to take anything they can get Arsenal at the minute, aren't they? Of course they are, and you can't blame them. But at the same time, it's frustrating. But then again, we got lucky with Man United, and they've got lucky today. So it's come back to bite us.
Come back to bite us, swings and roundabouts. Yeah. What we're saying going forward then, because it's so hard to sort of read us at the moment. Like it's so stop and start, isn't it? Up and down. Like, do you think this is going to go down into like, we're gonna sort of go down into a trough? We're going to like pick it back up again and like go back onto the winning ways again.
I must say I'm a very optimistic Spurs fan. So I think all us youth always are, and I can see us turning it around. I think Mourinho's going to try and say like, calm down. You're not that good just because you won a couple of games on the trot. You've got to pick the pace up. We've got a few tricky games coming up. We've got to make sure we get through to that Europa League quarter final, and we take it from there. We still win a cup final this season. There's a lot to play for. We're definitely not out of the top 4 race, because you see teams like even Manchester United, in my opinion, even though they've been good this season, they've rode their luck. They've had a few lucky games where they could have won. We're 6 points off them, but they've got obviously playing tonight, and we still got them to play. There's lots to play for, and I think. Yeah. West Ham are not as good as they are, and they're going to fall off the pace, in my opinion. You've got Everton. With Chelsea today, if we won our games in hand, we'd go above Chelsea on goal difference. And everyone's raving about how good Tuchel is. And I think they're playing good football. But we could easily, like Spurs fans, we've got to keep the optimism, and we've got to try and get that top 4 and hopefully a trophy or 2.
Yeah, definitely like that. Just out of interest, do you think on paper, when you look at the Spurs team, how good is this Spurs team compared to the rest of the team? Obviously, Man City are in like a kind of a different stratosphere to the rest of the league at the moment, but
definitely.
On paper, where would we be if you put all the teams on paper? Like, what would that top 6 look like, do you think, or top 4?
That's a very good question. I would say, honestly, I think our front 3 is better than anyone's. I generally believe that. I think with Liverpool not firing at the minute with Mane, Salah and Firmino, they're really not hitting form. City, like you say, are in a different stratosphere, but I would say if I had to choose the top 4 on quality and squad depth, I'd say it's probably Tottenham, Man City, Chelsea and Man United.
You'd have Tottenham top.
No, I meant just Man City first.
I want to hear them in order. Yeah, let's go in order.
In order. I'd have Man City first.
Yeah.
Chelsea have got a lot of squad depth, so I'd probably have Chelsea second with squad depth involved. Spurs third and Man United fourth. That would be my top 4 and like the team and the starting 11 combined.
Yeah, fair enough. So we should really be, looking at getting third then, or like top 4 to,
Definitely, we've got to
you
be
know.
optimistic because there's a lot of games to play and it's all
Mm,
tight.
mm.
And I think this year, in my opinion, it's just the only reason teams like Everton and West Ham have got a chance is because everyone's dropped their level drastically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we're just gonna have to hope for the best. And I really believe we could
Mm,
get a Europa League trophy. And
mm.
on our day, you know what Mourinho's like, we could easily win that Carabao Cup.
I like your plucky, youthful optimism. I've come from. I've seen the pain, man. I've been
Yeah, I
there. I've
know.
seen the pain. I've come from the late '80s all the way up to now. So I even missed like the heyday of the '80s when I started supporting Spurs. So I never even got that.
Yeah.
So I've just like my eyes have seen the pain, you know. So obviously, like
Exactly. All my
I'm
family say, "Oh,
yeah,
you're too optimistic. You're clutching at
yeah,
straws." But but you've got to look at the
Mm,
quality we can now
yeah,
attract. Like in the summer transfer
mm,
window, with like again, the penalty was unfortunate, but he still took the man out. Like you say though,
mm,
in my opinion, he went to block the
yeah,
shot, and Lacazette
yeah.
actually missed the ball. So I don't think that's a
What?
penalty, but
That's
it's
what
still
I
a
was
mistake
saying.
that's led to a goal.
It's just still mistake, but the thing, yeah, because he slices at the ball, he totally whiffs the ball, and that ball would have
Yeah,
just gone out for a goal kick. But then Sanchez goes into him, and it's like for me, I'm not sure what the ruling is on that because it's like, what if that ball had gone straight out of play and then he takes him out? So does that mean it's
nothing
still a
clear at the minute,
penalty?
is there?
I mean, at what point does it become a penalty, and what point does it become like, oh well, he kicked that out and then he went into it? Like, where's like the kind of what's the fine line there? So I don't know, but I mean, it was a bit rash though by Sanchez, and you kind of hope that he would sort of get that out of his game a little
To
bit.
be
But
fair, it was a great goal, and he was through. So I think Sanchez was trying to
yeah,
catch up and then last ditch tackle, but then
yeah,
Lacazette completely flunked the ball,
yeah,
and
he
then
totally whiffed it, totally whiffed
yeah,
it.
and Sanchez has clearly went to block the shot, and you can't blame him for diving in because it's a
Yeah,
one-on-one opportunity, and then. It's like at the minute with VAR, it's never going to be on your side, is it?
yeah,
When you hit the
exactly.
man, so I'd like to see a bit more like
Hmm.
know what the rules are like in that situation now in future.
I would like to know because that was a kind of a bit of a grey area one for me. And actually, when we all watched it, we all went, "What a tackle!" Like Stavis to
Yeah, we all
Sanchez.
did, didn't we? Yeah.
What a tackle!
Even the commentators, I think even
Yeah,
Alan Smith said it was
yeah, but it's one of
surprisingly
those.
from him.
But I was actually saying this to Sim on like our Hotspur show. I said like Sanchez has played well this season, but like when he comes up against the good teams, there'll be that little margin where you won't be able to get away with it as much against the bigger teams. And we'll see in this Arsenal game. And if there is going to be a mistake, it's going to come from Sanchez. And I called that on the show, and like, unfortunately that's what happened, which is a bit of a shame. But I'm not going to blame it all on him because I do think that like the
He's
whole
played
team
well
didn't
last
play.
couple of games, so
Yeah,
you've
he
got to give him
has.
a run of games.
Yeah, and you got to give him a run. I still think he needs to hold his side, position the side, don't you?
Yeah, I would say so because let's be honest, like Dyer's made so many individual errors. I think us as Tottenham fans, and I've been one of them at times, we
Mm,
scapegoat Sanchez a bit because even
yeah.
though he makes a lot of individual errors,
Mm,
he makes up for it sometimes. Like he's pacing behind, and
yeah.
he does get stuck in. So personally, I think I'd like to see Alderweireld and Sanchez have a run of games together because
Mm.
we've been chopping and changing constantly at the
Yeah,
minute.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
think you've got to give them two a chance. And at the end of the season, I think centre half is definitely where we've got to reinvest.
yeah, definitely, definitely. All right then. So a lot of optimism there from you, Jack. I appreciate that, man.
Always,
That plucky,
always.
youthful optimism. That's what we need.
Got to have it.
You're not going to get that from me so much, but the
I
younguns
bet
you will.
you've seen
Um,
it. You've seen it.
yeah, I know. I've seen it all, mate. I've seen it all. All right, Jack. Great to have you. Is this your first call, mate? Is this your
This
first
is
phone
my
in?
first of
Oh,
many, I hope.
yeah, first of many. Brilliant show, brilliant calling, mate. Great insights. And let's have you back soon. Yeah.
Definitely.
All
Thanks for
right.
the time.
Cheers, Jack. Cheers, matey.
See you later.